Hi, I'm Bill Denning. As a funeral director, I have the privilege to walk alongside families as they journey through grief. We attend to death, but also to the lives affected by that death. The manner in which people are cared for during times of loss can have a lifelong impact on a family. Residential hospice understands this and has completely changed the way we experience death. At hospice, families are given time and freedom to grieve in their own unique ways during those last precious moments. If death is treated with care and respect, the healing begins. We've put together this short film to celebrate the amazing work of residential hospice. The people in this video have shared their hospice experiences, and we hope that it will inspire you to embrace the movement of compassionate end-of-life care that hospice provides. Well, the residential hospice has taken the concept of end of life to a completely different level with the compassion and the care that they have really focused on for families. A hospital is a place where many different things happen, whereas a residential hospice is a place that just focuses on those last few precious moments with a family and making those moments very comfortable.
It gave me the ability to be a wife instead of a caregiver, and it just lifted that weight off me. I could feel it within hours of his being admitted here.
So my mother specifically wanted to be at hospice. I think that she felt happy that her care wasn't up to my dad or myself.
That valuable time to be a spouse and share things towards the end were very, very meaningful.
Because she was someone who worried about everybody else, she knew we were taken care of, so.
I think that the focus here at Secure House is that we treat the patient as they're living. I think changing that from looking at just death to living makes a huge difference to the patient.
The main goal of hospice, from my perspective, is support to make that transition as easy, as smooth, as stress-free as possible.
We experienced hospice and hospital deaths in our family, and by far hospice was the most comfortable, the most almost warm feeling.
The hospital was really, it felt like rushed, that I had to get through really fast to see my papa, but here I could take my time.
From the get-go, they were all about comfort, they were all about peaceful, they were all about the patient and the family though.
The biggest differences between hospice and hospital is the warmth, the friendliness, the less sterile feel.
This is not a morose place at all. We're upbeat and friendly and outgoing.
As a physician, I feel like we need more of the hospice model because it's so much more broad in its perspective and so much more inclusive.
Here at the hospice, she wasn't put in a body bag. She was just put on a stretcher and covered with a homemade Afghan provided by the hospice from neck down. Her head was left exposed, her face was exposed. So she just looked like she was sleeping, being wheeled out of here.
At Secure House, we had more time to say goodbye and to almost come to terms with it. We were able to stay with our Nana up until the funeral home director came.
I mean, hospice is really for anybody who is, I guess, approaching the end of their life or approaching their transition. It doesn't matter where you come from, what culture you are, what age you are, what particular illness you have, and whether you're wealthy or whether you're poor.
Upon driving up to the front entrance of Secure House, I was like, really, this is where people are going to come to spend their last days? It's just gorgeous.
The garden is beautiful. It's very serene. There was many times where I would go sit out in the garden just to have some peace and quiet. If you had little kids come with your family, you could go into the library or the movie room, and it was soundproof, so the kids were even welcome here as well.
I've heard it explained by people that when they come in the front doors, they really feel that space is like a big hug, like an embrace.
And it feels warm and inviting, and there's so much room in the actual room itself for everyone.
The hospice in particular, it's like very calm and quiet, and there's no hustle and bustle. It's just like a very nice, supportive space.
The services that they offer helps the family with their stress, I would say. They had massage therapy, they had Reiki.
My mom is Indigenous, so Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, we have very specific ways in which we care for people when they pass. In that, there's like medicine that we use, and the way in which we use that is we burn it. It's not smoked like you would think of, it smells really nice, and they were able to let us do that.
I think the food comforts people for many reasons. It's just much easier for them to stay in the house while their loved one is here.
They made it clear that the kitchen was available for us to use if we had meals we wanted to bring in.
I bake and I prepare the meals for the patients for either morning or afternoon.
They have volunteers who are constantly baking, so it's always nice to, you have that sort of grandmotherly kind of feel.
I feel like most people do want to stay at home for their transition, and people want to stay where they're comfortable, where they've lived, where their family is, where all their things are. But the reality is the capacity of the families to actually do those things in the home, so you get into caregiver burden and caregiver stress, and the truth is that the very end stages, they can be very scary, and you need all of those very specific supports there, and it's not always possible for each family to get access to those things. And so hospice is a good choice because you'll have all the support you need, and yet you can make it feel like home.
We had nothing else to consider or think of except just be with our loved one.
Hospitals are busy with many different things and serving many different situations, whereas with residential hospice, their focus is on making families as comfortable as the person who's sick.
It's one of the best places, I think, that Woodstock has to offer. My sister-in-law died here, and the care was just phenomenal, and it's just a place of healing, actually.
When I die someday, I want it to be in hospice. I don't want to die at home. I don't want to die in a hospital. I want to die where there's people who do this every day of their life, who understand a dignified way to die.